Hello, it's John Fisher back with you today to talk about exactly why TurboQSA's interview process is far better than the old way of doing things. Your customers will appreciate not having redundant interviews scheduled, and they will especially love being able to knock out more requirements in a single interview. With TurboQSA, it is always about saving time and providing a better customer experience, all while leading to a more accurate assessment. So let's jump into the software and have a look at exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, so here we are. Now let's just tee up the scenario here. Oftentimes when you're scheduling interviews, you're running through the requirements, you come across one that says, identify the individuals responsible for X that you interviewed, whatever it is. And you will reach out to these contacts and establish an interview, ask them to invite whoever's necessary, get together in a conference room or over a Zoom call, discuss what needs to be discussed, maybe take some screenshots of some things, whatever it is, review some policies. The problem with this scenario is you're going to get to another requirement, later, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, where you're going to figure out this same guy has got to be interviewed. So there really is a better way. I'm going to show you real quickly in this area right here. What we've talked about in other videos is super important to the way this all works, right? So in this demo, I've set up a few users, and they have these various titles. They're endpoint specialist, physical security lead, vulnerability management, data privacy, an HR rep, a database administrator, and somebody responsible for security operations. When you set up a new contact, and let's just go ahead and do one real quick so I can reiterate this process. We'll call this person Jim Carter, keeping part of our president's theme here. And we'll say that Jim is responsible for, we'll say he's responsible for user management. All right, and he's part of IT. Now here's the area I really wanted to get into. So responsibility areas. You've seen us talk about this in other videos. Let's talk about it a little bit more in this one. These are the primary areas in just about every IT environment, or every cardholder data environment, I should say. And in this case, since we mentioned that his title is user management, there's really two things he's going to be responsible for. Most likely, user account management and privilege management. There could be other folks involved with this as well, but for the purpose of this, we're going to go with this. What I wanted to get across, the point I wanted to get across here is, whether you establish all these users and assign these responsibility areas, or you delegate a client engagement manager to do that for you, either way, it's super important to get as much granularity and accuracy in this part of it early in the assessment. It's going to cut down on a ton of time. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit here. So let's go into our project and let's jump into just about anything. Why don't we go into vulnerability management or strong access control measures, since we just talked about that. Let's go in here, and I'll bet you anything somewhere along the line we're going to come up with the need for an interview. So it's not going to be this one, right? But here we go. 8.1.1, interview administrative personnel to confirm that all users are assigned a unique ID for access to system components. So let's go ahead and request an interview here. And we'll say it's going to be in person, and it'll be for tomorrow. And as you can see, we need to add some folks to this. These are the areas that are covered: information security management, user account management. So let's go ahead and add from registered users. And as you can see, really only Mr. Carter has 50% of the responsibility. I have not added an individual that has responsibility over information security management. We can write that person in, which we will do. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add this in at this point. And let's go ahead and jump out of here, and let's add a write-in user here. And we'll call him Bob Jones. And we'll say he's a CISO. In IT. Let's go ahead and assign Bob the responsibility of information security management. All right. So now we have 100% coverage for this particular requirement. But what else could we get done here? There's bound to be other things that these individuals could help us out with. So in this case, let's click on this under report items. Right now, this is the only report item that we're doing. But let's click here and see what else we could get. All right. So right here, 8.5.c, these same individuals will cover that. Seems like we could easily get through this particular requirement. Let's add that in. And then this one, interview personnel who confirm that access to privilege IDs is assigned only to roles. Probably get through that. As you can see, it's 100% related to the folks that are on this particular interview. And obviously we don't want to go too crazy here and add too many requirements in, but let's say we have 2 hours of their time. Most likely we can get through several of these. Okay. Maybe not this one. We'll probably need to have the developers in there as well, but let's go ahead and go with this one. And this one, since we know Bob's going to be in. We'll just stop there for the purpose of this. We could add a lot of things in here if we have enough time. So now what started out as a single interview is now going to be an interview with these same two individuals that have full responsibility over these 7 items. Far more efficient. All we have to do is save this, and those folks will be notified in email of their upcoming interview. They'll also get a calendar invite that they can import into their calendars simply by clicking on it. And as you can see in the interview, it's scheduled for this day, tomorrow. And if I click here, I can go right back to that screen where we were at, and type in the notes from the interview or do whatever else we're doing. So that's exactly how our smart interview engine really improves this process. Cuts down on redundant interviews, covers a lot more items in one interview session with the people that are actually responsible for those elements. Thanks for watching today, and we look forward to another video in this series in the very near future highlighting another amazing TurboQSA feature.